Hi, Ray here. I'm glad you could join me today for what I hope will be a little bit of a niche breakout to do a reprise on this beautiful Larch Bonsai. And I say it's a reprise because I did a video exactly this time last year when I photographed some bonsai. I did a video, which I'll link up here, on photographing this and many others of my bonsai collection, small as it is. And I hoped to bring you another video on this bonsai when it was in all its fall glory, because this is a deciduous conifer. And speaking of cones, it has put the most wonderful flush of brand new purple little cones out this spring. And so I really wanted to show it off. It's just gorgeous. I love it so much. I've had it for about 30 years, and it started off as about as large as perhaps one of these small branches here. And the other thing that I showed last year in last year's video was I did a sort of a Photoshop pruning, because this was about out to here, and I have since pruned it in through last year, and it has healed up quite nicely. This is still quite a complicated area of the tree that needs some refining, some simplification, and who knows, maybe in 30 years I'll get it there. But I'm quite happy, and so it needed repotting. The last time I repotted it was about 4 years ago, before I even moved to this place. And so in the middle of repotting, I decided, no, I really need to get it out of that pot, which was a little bit too flouncy for this sort of austere design of tree. In fact, I replanted it in this this slanting design probably 10, maybe even 15 years ago. I had it in a very large, probably 20-liter or more training pot, so to speak, for quite a long time. And that's what gave it this nice girth on the trunk. And generally you want your pots to have a depth of about the trunk girth. So this is pretty close to that. On the other hand, it is a big tree, and I don't want to go too shallow, otherwise you end up having to babysit it and water it up to 3 times a day. And I do have an automatic watering system, so that I can take a break from babysitting every once in a while. But where were we? So yesterday I decided that it needed a new pot, and so Amanda and I took a little adventure out, about a 100-kilometer round trip. Went to 2 different places, and went to the first place and actually saw this pot and thought it was definitely a candidate. Went to the other place where the guy usually has a huge selection of pots, but unfortunately, well, I guess fortunate for him, he had a pretty good year last year and was pretty much out of anything larger than, well, he had either really huge pots or quite small pots. So back to the first place, picked this up, and I am, as I said, very happy with it. I think it's a very nice, it's a classic Japanese design, although this is a Chinese pot. They're not quite the quality of the Japanese pots. But this one cost me $140. And the equivalent in a classic Japanese pot from one of the kilns in, say, Kyoto would cost you many times that. So it is quite nice. There were about 3 of these, or actually 2 in this size. This was the better one. I did notice today there's just a tiny little chip here, and I should have put that on the back, but I'm not going to repot it now this year. We'll turn it around next year once the roots have reestablished and firmed up. It actually wasn't too bad. It had been, as I said, 3 or 4 years since it was repotted, and it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was time to repot, but the roots weren't that root bound. Anyway, we have today, I'm not going to set this up like I did last year with my studio strobes. We've got the continuous lights, video lights here. On this side we've got a large softbox. We've got a smaller softbox here, and in the back I just have a reflector on this light with a yellow sock to warm the light up here. And I've got some smaller lights here for the backdrop, yellow on the bottom, blue on the top. Know what I mean? Gives it kind of a, a sunrise effect, and hopefully we'll get some nice sunrises before too long here. So that's about it. I will do a still here just with the Nikon Z9, and we'll do it that way rather than, as I said, set up the studio strobes. So I hope you liked this little aside. If you did, please give it the old thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Oh, there goes the construction noise. Please do so, and hit that notification bell to keep up on new content. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, cheers, and we'll see you later.